In 2025, the roads are very different to when they were when I passed my test in around 1990.
I still remember getting my first candy from my grandfather.
17-year-old me was probably as big a problem for my parents as George was for his.
That is so unfair!
Today we're going to talk to some really influential YouTubers and see what they'd say to their 17-year-old selves.
Do you know what? This is quite relevant because I've got children now.
But we're also going to look at a young driver who's been driving for a year now. We'll see what he's learned and we'll see what problems that's caused for his parents.
This is my brother Edward, and today marks 1 year that he's been driving legally on the road. How do you feel?
Great, yeah.
Yeah, boy.
It's also the day that he threw away his black box and now he doesn't have to worry. But my mum has seen all 4 of my siblings pass our driving tests, and no doubt she has had many sleepless nights. Now, believe it or not, my mum has been driving for 45 years. I've been driving for 15, and alongside Officer Owen's help, myself and my mum, we're going to give you guys some tips and tricks that we wish someone had told us when we first passed our driving test. If you could go and speak to a younger version of you that had just passed their test, what advice would you give to yourself the day you passed your test? If you could give any advice to the younger version of you that had just passed his driving test, what tips would you have for it?
Wow.
Do you know what? This is quite relevant because I've got children now.
I was always a very cautious driver. So the first time driving a car, I was like really nervous of having this thousands of pounds behind the wheel, just to kind of learn that it's
What
all
car
okay.
were you driving? Thousands of pounds?
Thousands of pounds.
I would say keep a keen eye on what's in front of you, even at slow speeds, because you get complacent. And I've had one crash ever, and it was at 6 miles an hour.
Yeah, just don't stress. It's cool. Take your time, no rush. Even if the people behind you honk super loud, you just take it easy. Just relax, you know?
And it's because I thought I'm going so slow I won't crash, and I did.
What do you think that you were most nervous about when you first passed your test?
When I first passed, I used to be worried about who's behind me and spent more time looking behind me than what's in front.
We all do a lot of silly things when we're younger. I think what I would say to him is never get in a car with anyone you don't know well.
I think it was the other people. It was the amount of cars on the road, you know? It was very disturbing at first, but then you get used to it, you know? Even at speed, it's fine, you know? Just take it easy, take time to think, and worst case, there's always a roundabout somewhere that you can just go around and ponder.
One last tip to anyone that's just got their driving license?
Don't be a dickhead on the back roads.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Don't crash. Don't crash. Make sure you pay attention and just be safe on the road.
Also, don't be a hero as well.
Dash cam, definitely, because they're absolute nuts on the
Okay,
road.
good point,
and give you indisputable evidence that they've gone into the back of you.
Mm-hmm.
Good tyres, because it gets slippy sometimes. I know so many people have skidded off the road. And some sort of speed detector warner.
What?
Especially when you've just passed, you only get 6
There are cameras out to
6
get
points?
you these days, yeah.
So-
Yeah, or you could lose your license if you
Yeah.
drove fast enough, for sure. So Edward, you've been driving for a whole year now. Can you remember what it was like when you first passed and you were allowed to drive on your own?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, just having the freedom, going from being able to go nowhere to anywhere just within a day was absolutely amazing.
Did you ever struggle with misjudging speed limits?
I mean, I think as a new driver, it is quite difficult just because you don't understand the roads as well. I think as time's gone on, I've got better at judging the speed and the limits that are in place. But I think as a young driver, it is hard. Just haven't got the experience of knowing where it's okay to go a bit faster. So if I would get caught speeding, my insurance would probably double. And if I get 6 points as a new driver for the first 2 years, you actually lose your license.
What Edward said there is exactly right. So when you first start to learn to drive, you have a kind of a probationary period for 2 years in which you can only get up to 6 points. Most drivers, or after the 2 years, you get 12 points to play with, but in those first 2 years, only 6. So one speeding offence could get you 3 points, or one mobile phone offence could get you the full 6 points. And if you get those 6 points, your licence gets revoked. Now, as a young driver, your insurance is going to increase dramatically for any offence because you've got to tell your insurance company that you've been caught speeding or whatever it is that you've been caught doing. So your insurance is going to go up because the insurance company is seeing you as a higher risk. But then if your licence gets revoked, you go back to square one, you've got to start all over again. And all that money that you've spent learning to drive is all wasted because now you've got to start from the beginning again.
You join us at a magic roundabout located in Swindon. And I can confidently say that this 5 roundabout thing they've got going on has definitely frustrated and annoyed many drivers over the years.
Come on, who are you then?
But what I want to know is, you've been driving for a year. How do you handle something like this? Now you've got the experience of driving for a year, but more importantly, did you have to handle this when you first passed your test?
I think that no matter how long you've been driving, it's always going to be difficult. But luckily for me, I mean, my instructor didn't once make me go over it, never did it in my test or any of my lessons. So that was quite good. But the day of passing, George said, oh, do you want to go on a little drive? I thought, great. Get some experience in after passing, why not? And so we're going to Halfords, which is in Swindon, and we're pulling up, and it's Medic Roundabout. I know about it, haven't driven it. So I say, right, I'm going to need some help. And he goes, okay. But he's too distracted by his phone, doesn't help me, so I have to figure it out myself.
So well done to Edward for even attempting something as complicated as the magic roundabout there. But the advice to a young or inexperienced driver is if you're going into complicated situations, and you're always going to come up against complicated situations like that, is just to take your time. Don't get too involved into something. Don't get sucked into a situation that you don't need to be in. Let other drivers sort themselves out, and you take your time to negotiate that hazard. Now, distraction is one of the main problems for a young driver, and as you can see in this clip, Edward's being distracted by his friends that are in the car. They might not be trying to distract him, but the fact that they're there having a conversation, probably involving him in that conversation, maybe playing with the music, is all a distraction to him whilst he's trying to drive the car. Now, unfortunately, when we get young drivers involved in serious collisions where they're killed or seriously injured, a lot of the time there's more than one young person in that car, which kind of proves the point that there is that distraction created by having your friends in the car. So please be very careful about how many and who you have in that car. Now, when your child passes their driving test and then has the freedom to go out on the road in a car whenever they want, where they want, it causes a massive worry for you as a parent. So we're going to go and talk to George and Edward's mum to see how she felt when they passed their test, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts as a police officer, having witnessed what I do on the road, as to how I felt when my kids first went out in their cars.
So a question that I'm really interested in, because I think this will apply to any family member or parental guardian watching this video. How did you handle the different pressures then of being a parent while also being a road casualty reduction officer?
The whole journey as a parent is a learning curve. You're learning every single day, and it doesn't mean you're doing it right, and you have to adjust to each child.
You know, you think back to when you were a kid and what you did and the unnecessary risks that you probably took as a young driver, and I think we've all done it. And then you've got what I do for a living, so I see things that other people don't see, and therefore that makes you see risk.
Did you have lots of nights where maybe we didn't come back for curfew and you probably overthought it?
If a child is back later than you have agreed is a good time to come back, your thoughts do go into overdrive.
Yeah, my wife probably dealt with it differently to how I dealt with it, but yeah, they've all been driving a little while now. So
you have to trust your children. If you feel things haven't gone quite as you would have liked them, then you have to talk to your children. You have to keep the communication channels open. So if you're too judgmental, too controlling, then those channels will close.
So we talk about different personalities. For example, your son. How did you handle him versus that of your daughter?
I worried about each of you individually for completely different reasons. Whether it was confidence, too much confidence, not enough.
Not being sexist, but the girls were probably very different to the boy.
You were, Wilf was the wrong word, but quite strong. What a child perhaps doesn't understand is once that 10 o'clock has come across, the time has come that the parent will then worry.
Girls are always more well-behaved, aren't they? It's the thing.
Well, I think they just sort of see things in different ways, don't they? I mean, obviously with boys, you've generally got that love of cars type things, and that, I guess, the thrill side of it as well. And the way they see risk is different. And then you get the phone call at silly o'clock at night that says, "Dad, my car fell in the ditch." Right? Okay. Are you okay?
My car
It's
fell
not
in the ditch.
about the car. Are you all right?
It fell in the ditch, did it?
It fell in the ditch.
Yeah,
It was just one of those things. It just fell in the ditch. Yeah, I think that experience was learned from.
Gosh, that's a hard one. Does any parent ever think they've parented correctly? They try their very best, and I'm sure it goes wrong all the time.
I don't think there is a right way or a wrong way, is there? Because, like I said, it's different between each parent's personality and each child's personality, and you deal with each one in different ways. And, I'm not here to give parenting advice, but, what I will say is that there are very different things available now that can help you with your young driver from a parent's perspective than there were when I learned to drive many moons ago.
My mum will hate me for saying this, but she's got a tracking app in my brother's car so that when he goes out and about, she can make sure that he's okay.
You know, if there was a way to help them do that, then that's what we need.
I would honestly say that I didn't feel over-controlled, but I also didn't feel like she didn't care about me on the roads. So I knew that I was safe telling her that I'd be late or that I'm going somewhere with friends without feeling the need to hide it from her, which puts me in more risk and makes her worry. So I would say that there was no over-control. But I never felt unsafe or uncared for.
So to finish up, why is it that we do what we do?
So basically, in its simplest terms, to drive positive change. And you know, what we want to do is change people's driving behaviour for the better. What we don't want is, for us, we don't want to be going out giving tickets because people have done things wrong. We want people to do things right in the first place, and that's why we do what we do on this channel, to try and get people to do things right in the first place. They don't get in trouble with us. They're safer on the roads, and we get everyone home safe at the end of the day. That's ultimately why we do what we do.
It might be worth mentioning that if you find any value in the videos that we do and you genuinely do learn stuff about road safety, we have our own apparel brand. So if you want to go underneath this video, check out our website and go look at some of the stuff that we've made, we'd really appreciate the support. We try and help you, so if you help us, we can continue doing what we're doing. In the years since passing my driving test, technology has come a really long way. And cool story, I used to get most of it from Halfords, as that was where I had my first job. Now I swear by a tiny little gadget that I've actually not taken out of my car since the day I bought it, and honestly, it's awesome. Now if I'd had one of these when I passed my driving test, I know I would have done things differently. It's not about being watched, it's about being informed, because otherwise you're going to have a naggy parent sat right next to you, just like this.
What, like me?
Okay, so Edward, this is a 40-mile-an-hour zone now, so if you just creep up to 41, look what the road angel will do. So it'll immediately shout at you. 39. Beep, right?
Okay. My name's Matthew Tipping. I'm a driver coach and I work at Palm Spot.
Okay, so a question that we've been asking everyone here is if you could give any advice to the younger version of you that had just passed his driving test, what tips would you have for it?
Be sensible. Girls aren't the future. You don't have to drive fast to impress a girl, and don't use your phone when you drive.
Tyres.
A good set of tyres.
Good set of tyres. That's the only 4 contact points of the car that's actually keeping you on the road.
In our day, it was pretty unrestricted of what you can do. There were less police cameras, less everything.
For sure.
Now, people are being made to run black boxes in their cars for insurance purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's lots more restrictions coming in. You've got to be careful. Picking up speeding fines. I think when you've just passed your test now, I think it's 6 points limit before you lose your license, not 12. If you want to do anything crazy, do it on the track, or you know, don't go mad.
Legend, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Cheers, mate.
We have rocked up outside Sally's Inn. It's commonly known as a black spot. You can't see around that bend right there. You also can't see much, and that's why people get into mishaps on the road right here. So as a young driver, if you were dealing with this, how do you think you would handle it?
I think the only way to do it is slowly. I mean, if you rush it, trying to find a small gap, you're going to crash. You've got to take your time.
Now, as a first-time driver, having a Road Angel Pure in your car could be massive. You could go from being anxious and potentially scared driving in a new area to feeling much more relaxed, knowing the fact that the Road Angel Pure is going to give you prior warning if something were to pop up that you weren't aware of. Whether it be a red light camera, a fixed camera, a safety camera, or even a black spot, the Road Angel Pure is going to notify you in advance.
Fixed safety camera. Speed limit 30.
Now, it's something that I've grown used to having in my other car, and now I've got this one, I've also got one in this car too. It's really, really handy because if you are a first-time driver, you just don't want to be driving around scared. You don't want to be going into a new place that you've never driven before and being constantly worried that a camera might catch you out. Now, anyone that's been to Plymouth will know there are a lot of varying speed limits here, but whether it be a black spot zone, a red light camera, a fixed safety camera like this one, or even a mobile safety camera van, if you're driving in a new area, especially as a first-time driver, it's going to help reduce anxiety and also make sure you enjoy your drive. Now, in the last 20 minutes of driving around Plymouth, it's picked up on at least 20 different examples of red light cameras, fixed safety cameras, or mobile camera vans. Not only is that protecting my license, it's keeping my independence and also guaranteeing that I drive safer. Now, the Pure One runs on a subscription, and look, I get it. Sometimes that can put people off. But here's the way I see it. Your driving license is your most valuable asset. You lose it, you lose your freedom, your independence, and potentially your job. The Essential plan starts at 27p, and that's less than the cost of a bottle of water. You've got a tool that could help you avoid points, fines, and the insurance hike that could come with it. For me, it's a no-brainer. It's cheaper than a speeding ticket, and it might just be the reason that you keep your license clean. No one's expecting perfection, but it's always easier to drive when you've got help.
Now, Owen, you know me. We've known each other now for almost 5 years. I've been into my technology and my gadgets ever since day one. Now, not everyone's into them as much as I am, but from a police officer's perspective, road casualty reduction officer, if I'm not mistaken, what would you suggest a younger driver spend their money on?
So for me, I would be looking to put that money into making sure that your car is properly maintained. You know, it's not cheap to do that these days, but make sure it's properly serviced, that you've got good tyres on it, you check those regularly, make sure the brakes are good, all that kind of stuff all costs money. So for me, that is of paramount importance. But then also, if you've got more money to spend, look at perhaps doing a Pass Plus or an advanced course, because whilst you've just passed your test, everything is still quite fresh in your mind and you're gaining experience. But what we don't want you to do is lose the skills or degrade those skills by the bad habits creeping in. So if you can get straight into the next course so that they build on the skills that you've already learned, that's a good time to do it.
Bad habits. On that note.
Yeah, you got loads of them.
Yeah, you might have seen in my driving clips, and also some of my brothers, that it's very easy to take your hand off the wheel when it's on the gear stick and then not put it back on. So what would you say to someone that is picking up bad habits, even if it would be unintentional, and how to avoid them getting worse?
Really try and concentrate on keeping the good habits and not let the bad habits creep in. You know, we've all seen where it's cool to put the seat back so that you're steering like that, like George does.
Ali G back in the day.
Yeah, or Ali G back in the day, if we can remember that far back. Yeah, it's about keeping up the good things and not letting those bad habits creep in. I mean, we've all seen George's driving in that video, you know, a hand on the gear stick. Well, where's the gear stick going? It's not going anywhere, is it? So let's have it back up on the steering wheel. Okay. You know, simple things like that. Keep making sure that you're checking your mirrors frequently, making sure you know what's going on around you all the time. You know, simple things like that that you're taught in your driving lessons. Keep up those skills and then improve on those skills by going and learning more. And you can always learn. We learn something new every day, and especially with driving, as your experience grows, you know, get some more tuition from people that are better at it than you are, because there are people that are better at it than you are. So learn from them and get better at it.
Honestly, thank you so much for your input. Making this video with my brother was very special, but also having a police officer's input is of course of extra value, and I'm sure it's helped them too. But guys, all in all, thank you so much for watching this video. I want to say a massive shout out to Road Angel for supporting me to make this video. A massive shout out to the Devon Cornwall Police for you guys adding your value as always. But more importantly, guys, like this video if you haven't already. Let us know any feedback, any questions in the comment section that both Owen and I can address in the future. But more importantly, subscribe if you're new, because we'd love to have you to stick around so you can continue to find value in our videos. Thank you so much. Should we do the cheesy old outro?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.